Hey, welcome to Love Liberate. I'm Emilie, your host. I'm a self-leadership coach, embodiment teacher, artist, and an activist for love. Now, I don't mean the fluffy kind of love. I'm talking about the real, the raw, confronting kind of love, the kind that cracks you wide open and liberates you, creating a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Because that is what I believe life truly is about. So through personal stories and inspiring, soul-stirring conversations on all things healing, embodiment, and spirituality, I'll help you navigate the good, the bad, and the ugly with tangible tools, fresh perspectives, and of course, a truckload of love. Here's to loving and liberating, one heart at a time. Hello, lovers. Welcome back to another episode of Love and Liberate. I'm so happy you're here. And today I want to talk about guru culture, the glorification of teachers, coaches, therapists, just like fallible humans who all of a sudden just present themselves as if they're the grand savior, the next Jesus, you know? And I think there's definitely a need for guidance, but there's also a need for clarity around that guidance. So that's what I want to speak to in this episode. And I want to kind of unpack how we got here. I want to show you the risks, the dangers of the glorification of normal humans. And I also want to offer you a solution. I want to, explain how we can make our ways out of there and back to the guru inside of ourselves, because I really believe that is the ultimate goal. I think that's what all the scriptures are about, whether they're the Bhagavad Gita or the Bible or the Torah or whatever. I think everything goes back to you are God and you have the divinity inside of you and you are a vessel of God and an expression of God. So you want to find that way back inside and from that place lead your life. Now, I'm not saying that I'm Jesus or Buddha, or I'm not comparing myself to all the great teachers, but we do have something in common. We believe in the same goal. And I think that's a very big difference if we're looking at the way the teachers or the gurus, coaches, therapists, transformational Hatzeflotzes of today, how they're selling themselves and their programs and their product, basically. It doesn't really sound like they believe that you have all the answers. It seems oftentimes like they put themselves on a pedestal and they kind of present themselves as idols, as examples. They also show off their 7-figure salaries and income and net worth and I don't know what how whatever the language is even, but it's kind of taking the wrong turn, I feel, and I think it's important to speak to that because I have experienced myself in my family where there's been a certain type of church that has kind of hijacked the, let's say, common sense of some members of my family, and my family got torn by it. We lost family cut family off, and we lost all kinds of things inside the family: connection, love, understanding, respect. It's horrendous what this kind of my belief and the only belief is, like, this is the truth and the one and only truth, what it does to families and to humans and to, well, the world, basically. I think we're facing a huge example of what that does and what the harm really is. And so the reason why I teach what I teach is because I believe that if we all guide ourselves and each other back to our own truths, then I don't think we would be facing the wars and the horrors that we're facing today, because every single person living their truth is never gonna engage in war. They're never gonna understand or agree to the the rationale of our politicians today. It just doesn't make any sense. If we feel into our bodies what is right, and if we move through the world from that place, from a connected place to our hearts and our bodies, then there are so many things that wouldn't be possible, because you can't possibly hurt another the way we're hurting each other right now if you are really feeling what that does to another. And actually, I'm going to add another layer. The whole reason why all the greats teach you to go inside, to turn inward, to not necessarily meditate for that matter, but just it could be any tool you use to go inside and to get to know yourself and to unpack all the little layers that you've covered your tender soul and your soft heart with. The reason why you need to tend to your grief and your pain and your fears and all of that is because they are the portals through which you learn to love yourself better and therefore the other. Because it's my lived experience that every time when I unpacked another piece of grief or whatever, trauma, whatever you want to call it, whenever I unpack a piece of that, inside is a deeper understanding of myself and therefore of my fellow human. That's a crazy, 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 mind-blowing experience to understand that every time I understand myself deeper, inherently I'm understanding you better. So the work that I'm doing to understand myself and to create a deeper connection with myself is inevitably me also creating a deeper understanding of you and of your heart. That's why I'm so incredibly devoted and passionate about what I do. And by what I do, I mean the work that I do on myself. I have many therapists and coaches and body workers and teachers all over the world who teach me continuously. Like I'm a forever student. And like that's half of my job. Half of my job as a teacher, a coach, a therapist, an embodiment practitioner, all of that, is the work I do with me. And then the other half is the work that I do together with you. And also listen very carefully when I say the work I do together with you, because it's not me doing something for you. I'm no miracle worker. I'm no magician. I'm not going to do anything, or I'm not capable of doing anything for you. I can work with you. I can show you the way. I can teach you. I can guide you. I can inspire you. I can shed some light. I can show you some maps. But you're going to have to walk the path. You're going to have to find that works for me, that doesn't, that's my truth, that doesn't resonate, that is a really great tool, thanks, and that no thanks, not working for me, or however you want to look at it. It's never going to be me helping you in that way. It's always going to be me guiding you. And the only way I can do my work with you is because I incessantly work with me. Because I'm only a human. I'm constantly seeing myself projected into the world, I might think that I'm looking at you, but I'm also looking at many projections that I still have and hold about myself and beliefs that I have around the world, about the world, Forever, I will be projecting myself into the world. Like there's no way I'm not doing that. But what I can do is knowing that. That's number one. And number two, working on unpacking and, like unlayering my own defense mechanisms and ideas and beliefs that I have about the world. So that's a very important piece of how we can, I believe, debunk guru culture, how we can make sure that a practitioner is reliable. That is, are you doing your own work? Question number one, who's your teacher? Who's your guidance? Who's your coach, as a therapist? That's an important question, and I think that's a question you can ask. Number one. And number two, if they teach you that you are the one and only who knows what's true and what's right, then you can trust them. But anybody who tells you what to do, don't trust them, especially not me. Don't ever trust me when I tell you what to do. No, I'm serious, actually. It's a very important piece of healthy guidance. And I feel a lot of the therapists and coaches and practitioners are in some kind of codependent relationship with their clients. And I know this is probably not very popular and not a sweet thing to say. Like, I'm not going to be loved for it, but I do think that's an issue. Like, a lot of the client-therapist relationships, they sometimes look like parent-child relationships, which in itself, there's nothing wrong with that. It's absolutely fine. We have been parented by a different generation with very different values and in a different time and era. And in also sometimes different cultures. So it's normal that we're looking for parents outside of ourselves. And it's also normal that sometimes it slips into the client-therapist relationship. But then at the same time, it's not what it's supposed to be. And it's, I feel, a therapist's responsibility also to set clear boundaries to that and to make sure that they are in the right position in regards to the client and their expectations and their feelings towards the therapist. Again, I believe those things for me because that's how I experienced my own practice. And everybody has different needs. And I also believe that the therapeutical world and the coaching world and the wellness world is very fastly evolving. And there is definitely phases also there. And I believe that maybe this is a new phase that we're entering in and that we can, look back and be like, that was a time when the population needed parent figures and therapists and coaches. They agreed to codependent relationships with their clients. And now we no longer have to do that because we're aware, we can see what's going on, and there's different needs. We're ready to lead our people into interdependence and into self-reliance and into finding their own truth. Not to say that every therapist and coach out there is a codependent, but I'm just saying that a lot of the ways that I see it marketed out there and the ways that the coaches present themselves, that's not an equal relationship. There is a hierarchy, sensible, tangible. There's a higher, lower. There's a hierarchy, and I just don't believe in hierarchic relationships being healthy. Not to say that a codependent relationship is necessarily hierarchical. This is another taste, another flavor of guru culture. Just unpacking the layers, just exploring a little bit what I see, sharing it, and also super curious to know what that brings up for you. Maybe this is a nice time to ask yourself, how do I feel in relation to my coach or therapist? And how do I want to feel in relation to them? Do I feel like we're equals? Do I feel like they hold a truth? Do they have something that I think that I need that only they have and that they need to give me? Is there maybe some parentification going on? Do you see maybe projecting some childhood desires onto them? Or maybe the other way around? Do you feel maybe like they're parenting you? Is that also maybe a nice feeling? Is that something you need, something you feel good with? Maybe is that something, you want to explore? I think these questions are important in today's wellness industry. To go back to asking the right questions, realizing that we're all students of life. We're all just in the learning process. I always say I teach what I know and I learn what I don't know, because what I do know, I love to share. And even what I think I know sometimes just has to change, because life gives me experiences and boom, something else pops up and there's a new truth revealed. And in the same time, all I can do is share from a place of where I'm right now and continuously staying humble and having the willingness to learn and to educate myself and to train myself endlessly. I think as a practitioner, that's the most important part. Realizing that you're never done, knowing that you have your responsibilities as a coach. So that's the first little, I want to say musings, but I think they're actual opinions, aren't they? Let's just be honest. They're opinions. There's also a little bit judgment there. I'm not going to lie. I struggle when I see those things. And I'm only human. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not judging, because I am. I'm angry sometimes. I get angry because I feel this is the whole problem, like if we're going to solve the problem with the same problem, we're not solving the problem, are we now? If we're saying like, you're not free, let me free you because I know and I have what you need to be free, then whoops, sounds like again, I'm not free, am I now? Because you're going to have to give me the answer. So there's some tension in that field. If you externalize your guidance, if you externalize the truth, that's the first step and the most important step towards being brainwashable and to losing yourself. But that's not news, like we've had these same dynamics in different coats and different dresses throughout entire history, So there's nothing new there. Only the risk, quote unquote, risk of today is always risky when we're trying to tell people that they don't know what they need to do and that we have the answers. But the greater risk of today, I guess, is the fact that we live in a globalized world where everybody can just spread their word, spread their message, and make it sound like it's a truth. And that's a very risky fake news new world that we're living in. But it also makes it so much more important that we check in with our own truth system and that we feel inside of our own compass, which is our body, whether something is right for us or not, whether something feels good or not. And I believe that a lot of the things that are happening today are not feeling good in any of the bodies receiving the messages or recreating or spreading the messages. And that disconnect between what is going on inside of our bodies, where the truth is felt, and where war is never feeling like a very nice, safe, good solution or option. If we were to listen to our body's truth, there would not be such kinds of raging wars as we're facing still today. So tapping into our own truth is really the only way out. And on top of that, what I've learned in my own experience is that if we go inside, the more we figure ourselves out, the more we work out our own patterns, our own dynamics, our own trauma, our own pains, our own grief, the more we unpack and undo layer after layer, the more we understand ourselves, the more we understand everything and everyone around us. The key is not to look outside and to rationalize and to read all the books. The main key is to embody understanding and this human experience. And through that embodiment, we come closer and closer and closer to each other and to love and to understanding and to wanting peace and to also radiating and living peace and breathing peace and taking action towards peace. Because I know a lot of people, they try to meditate as much as they can. I do feel there's like this striving for how spiritual can I be, how detached from my emotions, which are all very like vastly misunderstood concepts. Like we don't want to detach from our emotions at all. Our emotions are vessels for very valuable information for growth. Even more so, they are the portals through which we get to develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and therefore of each other and of the world. So if we want to show up in this world as enlightened as we can, then your very first task really is to sit with your emotions and to move through whatever wants to move through you. One of my favorite teachers, she always said, whatever moves through you transforms you. And this to me, I think I mentioned in previous episode as well, this to me is like the most important lesson or teaching or way of looking at this human experience that is out there, because we were given this body. It's only through this body that we can experience this life. We need this body to be experiencing and to be walking around. Our bodies are the meeting point of the spiritual and the physical. And it's in that meeting point that the magic happens. So having energy moving through you, which is the spiritual, the energetic, moving through the physical, the matter, the body, that's actually where the real transformation happens. And whenever you allow an emotion to move through you instead of you block it or you suppress it, that's when the energy gets to be transformed, because energy doesn't dissolve, energy never leaves, but it does transform. So if, for example, you suffered a great loss and there's immense grief that needs to move through you, that's going to be maybe even a lifelong process of grieving. But whenever the grief hits you, the number one thing is to simply feel it and allow it to move through you. And I don't know if you have this experience in your life, but I'm pretty sure that at some point you had an emotion so overpowering that it had to move through you, that you couldn't suppress or you couldn't, try to bypass it. So it had to move through you. Didn't you feel a sense of relief and release afterwards? I'm pretty sure you did, because that is the nature of emotion. If you allow it to move through you, then something shifts, something changes. And then even in the days afterwards, different visions, different perspectives on the same situation might be available. That's what happens. Like, you literally change your cells, your constitution. Something changes as energy moves through you. And you could even make this visual. It's like, for example, because people struggle with the concept of energy and emotion being energy in motion. And then I'm always like, well, can you see the Wi-Fi? No, you can't, but it's working, isn't it? And more importantly, music. You can't touch music. You can't taste music. I mean, some people have this different way of sensing things, but I'm speaking to like the let's say the majority of the people. They hear music, but they can't see it, they can't touch it, they can't taste it. And yet all of a sudden, maybe you start dancing, or maybe you start crying, or maybe you smile, or something inside you is being moved. And that's tangible. Like you can feel that. That's real. That is energy in motion. Music is energy in motion. And emotion is energy in motion. Just like that. And sometimes when you listen to a song, something inside you moves and something inside you shifted because you were open to receive this energy and to have that moving through you. Now, how does this relate to the guru culture? I believe that you, your body, your energy, your physical, emotional, energetic human experience, that is the magic. That's your tool, that's your vessel, that's your job, also your task here to carry that through the world. And this is like that in itself is that's the guru, that's the magic. It's you being the meeting point of the spiritual and the physical, and that's where all the teachings are. So yes, I believe coaches, teachers, and people of all kinds can learn you so many things, can teach you so many things. Sorry, and they can show you stuff inside of you. They can create experiences for you to have. But in the end, it's always happening inside your vessel, inside of you. And that point of view where nobody else has the capacity to like influence you in that way, I believe is just such an important point to make. To really go back to that is your home, that is your center, that's your core, that's your mission, that's your privacy also. And I believe that the embodied experience of whatever it is, like that's where the magic happens, that's where change happens, that's where you transform, and that's where the real work is done. Now, definitely, there are amazing teachers who can, provide that experience or create the right space for you to have that experience. But I think that the whole idea of looking up to people and thinking that they have the answers for you is wrong, number one. And number two, I feel there's so many chatter and there's so many talking and there's so many blah fucking blah out there. And yes, there are amazing quotes that can feel resonating, like they resonate in your body. And then that is also a message for you. But that's not going to transform your life. Like all these words that are being thrown around and all these people sitting on cushions wearing robes. I mean, are we done now? Can we just go back to seeing everyone as our teacher and knowing also that we are the greatest teachers ourselves? That's something that I've struggled with a lot also as a coach and as a teacher, because I didn't feel comfortable putting myself out there and sharing the fact that I would love to teach and to guide people, because I feel like I would be associated with this whole guru culture that I'm just really not a part of, and that really feels off to me. Even so much so that at some point I decided to stop coaching because it didn't feel nice to be looked up to in a certain way. But then that's part of the deal. The part of, like, it's not to be looked up to necessarily, but you are in relation to your client, you are one little step ahead of them. Otherwise, you can't teach them. So there's something, and that can be just like a tiny little step, and it can be in a very specific field also. It's not like a general human thing, like I'm more developed or more worthy or valuable than you because I'm a coach and you're still need, like in coaching. I'm also forever in coaching, by the way. So that tiny little difference, that's where the expertise is at, and that's how I can teach you. But yeah, the idea that somebody else, somebody outside of you has what you need, that's where we go wrong. However, interdependence and knowing that we need each other, and that being in service of one another with the things that we know and the skills that we have, that is definitely part of reality. But that's interdependence. That's not glorification. Like, I don't need to look up to you and think that you are better and believe every word you're saying because you taught me how to, deal with my emotions, to say something. So, bringing back the power to every single one of you out there and really focusing on your capacity as a human being, as this vessel and this energetic being coming together, like, that's where your power lies. And that's also why I work with embodiment and why I love embodiment practices, and everything is around that meeting point, very tantric also, the duality, the non-duality, but the duality of our physical and spiritual world and of our experience here. That's such an such a sweet spot to be, and that's where I want to take people. So I believe in that sense that the future of our development as human race is very physical. Like, I really feel like we need to go back to this connection with our body, because our bodies are the vessel for the spiritual. And by that, it's also the earth, our planet, Mother Nature. That's another part that we've been abusing, that we've been neglecting, and that's what's showing right now, and it's also showing in our world. Same thing with AI, where everything's like artificial intelligence, it's in the cloud, and it's like we can't really touch it and can't really see it, and we want things to be work better and faster and more and more and more. But then in the same time, there's this physical, much more heavy, present reality as well that we need to tend to. And that is 50% of our reality and 50% of our existence. Because if you neglect your body and you're constantly in your head achieving, I don't know, amazing things on that level, but your body will start to complain. So, yeah, this is like my... like how I want to bring my work to this world is I want to bring you back to your body. I want you to connect back to your body, because that is where all the information lies. And without that body, you wouldn't be here. So taking it back there, taking it back to the physical experience, and therefore being a reliable vessel for your soul. Because the only way to know whether something is right for you or not is to feel it. Because there's so many messages out there. There's so many words flying around. How do you know what's true for you? Like, the greatest proof of this disconnection that we are facing with our bodies is the fact that there's so much cruelty out there. There's so much horror out there. Even just like action movies, war movies, like we're seeing aggression all over the place constantly. It's in our face. On a political level, wars raging in the news. We're constantly confronted with horrors, absolute horrors, and we get to see these images. Yet we're still functioning? How are we still functioning while we're seeing all of that? How is that even possible, knowing that that is going on? You have to dissociate in order to continue your life, because otherwise you can't survive, because it's too cruel. It's too horrifying. There's no way you can live like that, having these visions constantly on your, like, it's just, we're bombarded with horrors, and in the same time we just continue to function. So if we were to be connected to our bodies enough, this would not be possible. It would just not be possible because we would feel the pain that we're causing one another. We would feel the pain that we're causing ourselves, and we would feel the pain that we are causing nature. And this disconnection, that I feel is a huge part also of this whole guru culture, where there's just people having the right branding, saying the right words, bringing the right, I don't know, vibe or identity that people want to associate themselves with. But then it's not embodied. Did you live any of it? Both the guru and the follower. Like, can you feel something? What's true for you in your body? Maybe there's 20 teachers out there who a little piece of that, a little piece of there, that. Like, you make your own cocktail of truth as you walk your path and as you feel and check in with yourself what is right for you. That's what I believe is what we need right now. We need a counter movement, and I believe that that counter movement lies in your body, in your own felt experience, one. And two, I also believe that is coming from the coaches and the therapists and the magician transformers out there. Don't teach what you haven't lived. Don't preach what you haven't experienced yourself. And it's okay to not have all the answers because you don't have to. That's fine. But just stay true to what you know. Stay close to your own heart, your own body, your own experience, and speak from that place. There's no need to have all the answers. Nobody wants you to have all the answers, you know. Like, that's okay. You can just be human, like all of us. Let's all just be human together. I think that's a great way to grow. I find the most beautiful teachings, they always came from the most humble teachers in the moment when I saw their humanity. Anyway, that's one big part of this. I feel how we can emancipate from this crazy guru culture, and that's in your hands. You can start feeling what's true for you in the moment. You can start following your own body. You can start trusting your own truth. That's a big chunk of information maybe, but you honoring your own vessel and your own experience as the only right one. And by doing so, yes, you're going to make mistakes. Yes, there's going to be plenty of choices ill-made. Very bad judgments in situations, and then you're gonna have to experience the mistake and then come out on the other end and know, like, well, that's not gonna happen again. And then maybe it does, because you're a human and you're fallible. We all are, and that's fine. And by fallible, I'll actually mean fallible. Okay? So maybe my English is not good in the rant, but then I hear it. Okay? Because I'm also fallible. Ha! I'm just a human. What a great coincidence.